Hello, it's Colette. Welcome back to my channel. This is the weekly tarot card for the week commencing Monday, the 13th of August 2018. My goodness, where has the year gone? And I'm sorry it's gone up a wee bit late. I wasn't very well the last couple of weeks, so I had to be a wee bit mobile, but I was getting to the stage where that was starting to get me down. So it's kind of a halfway house, that way you kind of say, well, what's better to keep, I need to balance my physical health probably with my mental health. That's what it's coming down to. And I missed you all. So I'm back with a few wee videos, and I did miss you. And thank you to everybody that emailed or messaged and said, are you all right? Are you all right? Yeah, I'm getting there, honestly. So this is the week ahead, Monday the 13th of August, and it's a major arcana card in Rohrig, the Judgment card 20, one of my favourite cards in the deck. It has the original Rider-Waite kind of depiction at the bottom, and you can see the man, woman and child are coming out of their graves and going towards the angel, and the angel's blowing the trumpet and telling them to come up. And it looks quite a spooky card, but in Rohrig there's this young woman's face that's totally bright, and she's got all sorts of symbols around her, feathers and the part of her own trumpet. And she's just lovely. If you look close at card 2, the High Priestess, it's the same face, but in the card 2, the High Priestess, this female has her eyes closed, and in this she's got her eyes wide open. So there's lots of little meanings for this, but it is a major arcana card, and it does, actually I think I've done my blusher exactly the same as this card. I was trying to make myself look more like Judgment than like Death warmed up today. Anyway, so yeah, that's quite interesting. Anyway, so the Judgment is a big card. It's card 20. The next one's card 21, the world or the universe. And that's the sort of end of the Fool's journey, and it punts them straight back, card 0, back to 0, the Fool, to go through 1 to 21 again. And it's just, the world card is there for the next cycle, but the Judgment, it's about Judgment Day as such, and it's seen as, that awakening, that energy of understanding, being called to sort of stand up and kind of say what life you've had, and how you've helped people or not. So there's that aspect, but I'd like to also point out that this at the moment, I do believe, is an incredible time of awakening in people. There's all sorts of energies out there. There's always been negativity. There's always been evil. But we're coming to a stage where I think evil is showing itself. An old Native American elder once said to me, don't be worried when bad things come out, because that's evil showing itself. And when we see evil, we can call it out and we can fight it. Stormy called me. And he said to never be afraid of that. In fact, I think maybe he wished he would have lived longer to be able to be part of seeing evil really being called out. So with this card, there's the aspect of having lived, sort of died and come through into your enlightenment, your resurrection. And in general this week, you might find that a lot of you spiritually just get called onto your correct paths. You just know where you're going. There'll be the light bulb moment, or maybe it'll just be a light going on and becoming shinier and brighter and shinier and brighter. And that's all it will be. But by the end of the week, you'll feel different. Spiritually, you'll feel more alive, more alert, and certainly more at peace, especially if you've been struggling, maybe. I've been a lot of people in the comments saying, oh, I did so well with this meditation, now I'm a bit stuck. That's fine, we all get stuck from time to time, but remember, spiritually, the week ahead is an awakening, so look forward to it and rejoice in it. And also know, for the bigger picture in the world, it might be that we have to see evil expose itself and then call it out, and you either can stay silent, or you can call out evil, or you can have your say against it. But remember that, there is a sense of judgment here as to what you do. It's no good if you see injustice, standing by and letting it happen, because that makes you almost as bad as the perpetrator. So know that it could be an odd week. I think what I'm trying to go over is that in the news and in the world, there might be things that, even if you've been quite a quiet, non-political person, might make you say, do you know what? Enough is enough. I'm not supporting that. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to fire off a letter to the government, this, that, and next thing. Or spiritually, it might well be that you decide to maybe do ritual or prayer and move forward in that way. But you'll be called on this week in some way to make a stand. And it could be a big thing, like standing up and being counted for something that's happening in the world. It could be a smaller thing in the other areas of life, which I'm going to go to soon. Or it could just be that spiritually, you might have to go with the flow here, accept some negativities, but know that you're on a journey that's leading to awakening and to take you up to the next level. I have always loved the Judgment card. Those of you that used to come for readings for years and years would know that I always saw it as that almost a completion of a cycle of who you were, and that new cycle of who you will be. And sometimes it's a good time to dump the past more and to move more to who we want to be and who we will be in the future, because this card will help that. So if you've been low and down, and everybody this year has had good reason to feel that way, but we're in August now, the year can't be wasted as such. We have to now start allowing ourselves to absorb what's happened, whether it's to families and friends or the world or countries. Absorb it, and then let's awaken out of it and do something. It's your choice what you do, but do something. And also remember that there's the aspect of this, look back on your life as well and say, is there anything I could make right? Is there anything that I want to put to bed as such before I move into this new way, this new awakening? I certainly would ask you all to meditate more with this card and on this card, and see what you feel on it. And I'd love to hear your comments down below, what you feel this means. Now remember, we're reading the tarot not as this sort of ancient wonderful tool of divination, which it is, but we're reading it in the present day. And I leave the weekly tarot to right before it has to go, so that it can reflect that total week ahead. And that's why sometimes it's late if I'm not well. So know that I leave it so that it can be far more accurate. It can be so accurate to world situations, to, even I try to keep my politics on the other channel, my private channel, but as I was shuffling, just before I was shuffling the cards, I'd just come off Twitter, and I'd heard that there was a busload of children killed, bombed. I'm not going to say where, but you know where it is. And that, what do we do about that? Our own UK government had a hand in that. And I won't be quiet on my other channel or with what I want to say on it. And I don't tend to bring it over here. And I'm sorry to do that, but I'm just about to do something and news like that comes in and it matches this card, that's evil. Evil is happening. What are we going to do about it? But it's not a political Colette Clairvoyant channel. It's a spiritual channel. And there we go. But be prepared to not be happy about certain things in the week ahead, and then figure out deep within what you're going to do about it. And if you think, if you do nothing, what would God say if, you know, you went up and you hadn't done anything to help, or you hadn't had your say? Think of it as Judgment Day. Are you happy with what's going on in the world, or could you do a wee bit more? And I know there's not that much we can do, but one person can't do much, but millions can. So, and I've got 4,000 views, 4,000 of you on the channel. No, seriously, I need to move on, okay? It's just a big spiritual deep card, and it's very relevant to the world as we're in it today. At work, what does it mean? In career? Well, again, it's probably the need to stand up and be counted, say, that was my idea, or I didn't do that, I'm sorry, or I am taking account that other person was better at this than me, or I'm sharing something. It's about being quite truthful and honest at work. If you have, say it was your project and someone else is trying to take the sort of get the reward for that, well, call them out, but don't let it be the other way around, if you see what I mean. Be very fair in work. Make good judgments, intuitive judgments, and stand by them. But most of all, think, am I being fair to my workmates with what I'm saying or doing? Does this feel good? Or even say, you know, you're with the general public, you know, are you treating them the way that you maybe didn't years ago? You know, if you maybe were full of the joys, but now you're just jaded. Think on that. So in the workplace, you might find that there's pressure to change your outlook. Sometimes people see the resurrection aspect of this and they get a promotion. They get a new job, which is great. But remember, it's about your inner morals as well, and what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. If we look at health, it's just a really good one for things that maybe haven't worked in the past to work. So if you've maybe had a treatment in the past and it's not worked and you let go of it, and maybe the illness hasn't gone so well, it might be time to revisit a treatment, a therapy, something that can make a big difference. So if you've got the chance to maybe do something different with a different outlook with any illness in the week ahead, the way forward is to say yes to that, whether that's a new type of medication, a new therapy, a new way of looking at things. This card also gives me a lot of things to do with cognitive behavioural therapy. Is that CBT? Because of the aspect of thinking and then letting go. It's quite a mindfulness card, so it's a very good card for mental health. If we look at relationships, many relationships, long-term ones, will be going up a level in the week ahead. There'll be a sense of, you know, well, we've done this is the next step, this is the next step. And that could be being engaged, to being married, to, you know, all sorts of things that take the relationship up different levels with what you've learned and what you need to be differently, if you see what I mean. Couples that have been together and maybe lived together might want to get married because they've learned that, well, they can tolerate one another for the rest of their life. So it's a really good card for relationships. The slight downside is if you look at someone that's not treating you fairly and they look as though they'll not change their ways, then you're more than likely to speak up and say, no, not anymore, I'm not doing this. If we look at finances, again, it's good if you want to change your ways as such. With finances, if you feel that you maybe want to save more, basically if you want to go up a level, you're not a teenager anymore, you don't need to go spend money, you don't need to be materialistic. There's a very spiritual energy comes through with this, that you think, you know, kind of, oh, I want. And then with this card, after a while, you're like, well, I kind of want it. Do I need it? Do I really need it? And before you know it, you could be moving into a more minimalist outlook where money is concerned, and saving money, saving up for something, maybe saving up to launch a new life somewhere in a year or so. It's a great card for savings. It's a great card for leaving a kind of dodgy way behind. It's a great card, believe it or not, for cutting up credit cards and making a new way of being, a way that if you were caught out, it's a bit like Swedish death cleaning. That's a wee bit more intense than is it Marie Kondo, where you're minimalist and clearing things out. That's all very gentle. Do I like it? Swedish death cleansing is like, well, I want my kids to sort this out when I'm dead. And that's what it is down to. But this card has that aspect about it. Do you really want your kids having to pay off some debts? Would you really want your children or anybody having to clear up after you? That card can be used in that way too. So big card. I know I've talked at length on it, but it's one of my favourite cards in the deck whenever it's been out for me, certainly linked with other cards. You can't just look at one card. In a reading there would be, goodness, as many cards as I like used to be put out, to be honest. The table could have been full of them. But it's the cards around it that give you what area is relevant in your life. And as you go through the week, you might find that it's relevant in a lot of areas of your life, or maybe just one. But remember, there's a very big underlying spiritual judgment day aspect. You know, you need to be the person that you would like to be if you're standing in front of your maker. It's a big one, isn't it? So you can water it down a wee bit and say, you know, well, this is what I want to leave behind in 20 years, but I'll start now. Anyway, excuse me. So I'll love you and leave you. I hope you liked this week's weekly tarot card. If you did, give me the thumbs up. Comment, let me know what you feel this is about, maybe. I've got lots of good conversations going on now. Not so much the general meaning of the card, the meaning for now or for you now. And let's get some conversations going. You know, I look at all the comments and answer what I can. And as I say, hopefully we'll be back to the original schedule and watch for some more videos going up over the next week. So I missed yous. I'm glad to be back, and thank you for all your love and support, and enjoy the Judgment Week, particularly spiritually. All of you that watch the channel are spiritually minded. That's the odd troll isn't, but I'm not really talking to them. But all of you know what I'm getting at with this card. So make it a week of maybe meditations, development, quiet times, gentle music, ritual. It's all there for you. And this is a card that can really start things happening for you. So many blessings from a very, very sunny Scotland. I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.